Mr. Rotten Tomatoes. I can't believe his parents named him Rotten and Tomatoes. What a terrible name for a person. Either way though, Mr. Rotten Tomatoes has revealed his score for Fantastic Four First Steps. So in this video, we're going to talk about where exactly it's landed, and of course how it might change over the course of the next week to months on end, because the scores fluctuate now, as we know. So yeah, Fantastic Four First Steps, the reviews started to hit obviously earlier today. I made a little summary of generalized ideas behind the reviews and what some people are saying, and that video is up. Of course, as I stated before, Ricardo will have his review as he took on one of the early screenings from Marvel, and then I will have mine Thursday night after I see the film with my friends and family. So, I'm excited, and obviously Rotten Tomatoes is a big factor for some people, as, well, a good indication might push people to buy tickets. We actually saw this happen with Superman recently, where the second weekend got a bump from great reviews and reactions from the first initial weekend and the good Rotten Tomatoes reveal and reviews. So things were looking good for that film, and things should be looking good for this film because the Rotten Tomatoes score has been revealed. But before we get there, we of course got to go over what is Rotten Tomatoes, because people still don't know. Okay, let's explain what Rotten Tomatoes is. So, to make everything really simple, Rotten Tomatoes is an aggregate review site which, if your movie is seen as super successful and the critics love it, you get a fresh rating. If your movie's between amazing and bad, you get a tomato. And if your film is bad, you get a rotten rating. Now, these are calculated not by Rotten Tomatoes, and people never seem to understand this, because they're constantly complaining about how Rotten Tomatoes is wrong about their favorite film and focusing on the audience review, which should tell you everything you need to know, because Rotten Tomatoes has two different scores. How this works is that they take all the critics that are approved for their system, aka places like Variety, Deadline, and so forth, including smaller outlets, and they contribute to the tomato meter, while on the other side, you got the, the audience score, and typically there is usually a discrepancy between the two. All these scores are put into a aggregate machine, and, well, it spits out what your Rotten Tomatoes rating would be, / the overview of it, and you got it with, well, the RT score. And if that's not good enough for you and you want more insight besides just the number, you can click the reviews or the ratings, and it brings you all the way down to the bottom of the page, where you can scroll to your heart's content and see what fans and approved critics think of various different projects. There is no singular person at Rotten Tomatoes that's responsible for this score, so when you hear people saying Rotten Tomatoes is wrong, that's because they don't understand how the system works. The system is pretty simplistic. It's a great way to be able to gauge the general consensus of critics and audiences, and, well, it's a service that's become commonly and widely used across the industry to gauge interest and, of course, the love of franchises and projects. And speaking of franchises and projects, let's talk about Fantastic Four again, because, yeah, the Rotten Tomatoes, right? Everybody's on the edge. What is the score? What is the score? Again, I need to remind you guys that the score populates, and then it can it can wildly fluctuate during the first 24 hours, because what happens is they upload an initial score, and if you check it on like your mobile versus like your desktop and refresh it, you can have scores that are different by upwards of 10% or 10 points up or down. This happens because of the filing in the back end, what they're approving, how they're stating a score, because if somebody scores something a B out of a normal letter grade scale on their website, they got to convert it into a tomatoes meter, which a B would be like an 8, right? So sometimes it takes a little bit longer. The reason I'm saying this is because, again, scores can fluctuate. I always see people, the moment I make this video and put it up, it doesn't matter when I put it up, they will say, oh, you're wrong, that's not what the score is, it's actually gone up 3 points, or it's dropped 6 points. Again, guys, I try to explain this every time. The score fluctuates, and it's going to fluctuate for the rest of time. As more critics get approved, they'll add their score that can bring it up or down. This happens. It's just how it goes. Nothing stays still forever when it comes to these things, right? So what I'm trying to say is, in a long-winded way to get here, is that the score for Rotten Tomatoes, when I refreshed right as I'm recording right now, actually I'm going to pause right now and refresh it one more time just to be as thorough as possible. The score is, let me put the epic voice guy, the voice of God revealing the Rotten Tomatoes score on, 84. So yeah, 80s. Okay, so it's right along with Superman, right? Now again, there is a chance it fluctuates. Don't worry if it does. If it does a substantial up or down, we'll update it. The reason I haven't updated Superman, because it's at 82 last I checked, and when it hit, it was, what, like 85 or something? That's a 3-point drop. Who cares? If it drops under, like, I don't know, 80, sure, there'll be an update. But if it remains here, that's it. Somewhere in the 80s. And God knows I'm going to refresh right after I render this video, and it's going to be up to an 88. Thank you for checking out that video, and thank you for your continued support. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, do whatever you will. And if you're so inclined and would like some additional content from us, which includes unfiltered content and bonus discussions, we do offer exclusively in our member section. We hope to see you there. So thank you for watching, and have a good one.